Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Prey, Blind. I decided to destroy Talos I because it seems like a safer course of action overall, and provided everyone else can still escape on the shuttle, the only thing is going to get lost is knowledge. And I feel like the knowledge can be eventually rediscovered because, you know, some of the crew, for example, will be alive. For example, Dr. Igwe, who knows quite a lot about what has been developed here. And I feel like it is not really worth it to risk contaminating Earth with the Typhon just for the knowledge that was gathered here. Because if the Typhon attack Earth, then presumably there's not going to be...
Morgan, I don't know if you've seen, but there is alien matter ripping through the hull. You have to move. Боже мой, every window in this station, it's engulfing the place. It's everywhere.
And presumably there's not going to be a species left to enjoy the knowledge that would have been saved. I just hope that I can drag Alex with me onto the shuttle, but I have a feeling he might actually turn on me and attack me and die in the process. I would hate for that to happen. But, well, we all choose our own path, I guess, in life. Well, let's do it. Talos auto-destruct. Ready. Initiate. Are you sure? Yes.
Warning. Reactor detonation imminent. Please evacuate Talos I.
I wish there was something I could have said to snap you out of this fugue. It's my fault. I gambled too much. And the worst part? It isn't losing the station or the tech. It's you. I lost my brother. That is a mistake I will never recover from. There's nothing left to talk about. If you have some means of escape, you may as well go. I won't be leaving. Everything I cared about died a long time ago, it seems.
The shuttle is ready to go, Morgan. I'll wait a few minutes before detonation, but then, I'm gone. You're on your own after that.
Damn it. I'm really sad that he's not going with me. But it's not like I can force him. Like, I guess... No. In-universe I could, probably. I could drag him on my arm or something. You know, force him to escape with me. But I don't think I can in-game as a player. And in the end, he chooses his own death, which I think is stupid, given the circumstances. He should have escaped with me, but if he wants to die, then who I am to really, you know, like, it's his choice. It's a stupid choice, in my opinion, but it's a choice nonetheless.
Warning, reactor detonation imminent. Please evacuate
Okay,
Talos
Arboretum.
I.
Is there an exit to the lobby from here? Because I need to get to the shuttle bay, right? Yes. I guess I could still escape through Alex's personal escape pod, but I think it's actually better to escape with everyone else on the shuttle. I feel bad about Alex. Oh well. He has chosen his own fate. It's not like I killed him. He chooses to kill himself.
Microgravity detected.
To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to actually reach the shuttle in time.
Warning, reactor detonation imminent. Please evacuate Talos I.
Well, I'm trying.
Vital signs critical.
But fortunately, it's a very close run from the entrance to the shuttle of the shuttle bay to the shuttle itself. I'm kind of curious about the other ending now. Like, what would have happened? Would Alex, would he even escape? I guess not, because he believes so strongly in the success of the Nullwave.
Reactor detonation imminent. Please evacuate Talos I.
Maybe it would have been a better option, but you know, hindsight is 2020, as they say. And to be honest, at this point, I still don't know if it would have worked because I didn't try it. I'm probably going to either look it up on YouTube after I finish the game, or try it myself, just to compare it.
Warning, reactor detonation imminent.
Operator deployment resuming.
Okay.
Let me out.
Please
I won't
evacuate
forget it.
Talos I.
You are a real decent human being, Morgan.
Am I
Bоже
now?
mой, what are we waiting for?
Where is my seat again?
Morgan, Mom was right.
We should go.
You hear that, Mom? You were right. But it was my decision.
Okay, let's go.
Ready or not, starting debark operations. Pre-flight check is who gives a shit. Hang on to your seat. This will be a rough ride.
I keep having this dream.
Wait. What? Was that everything? Like, it just said, Morgan just said, I kept having this dream and the shuttle was flying towards Earth and that's it? Like, what kind of an ending even is that? Come on, that's kind of disappointing, to say the least. Like, what's the matter with that? And what's with this outro? Like, no, well, not outro. What's with those credits? You know, just people walking throughout Talos I, which is already destroyed at this point. What the hell? Okay, I have to try the other ending because this is kind of crap. Like, I'm not even talking about the actual consequences of it. I'm talking about the way it was executed and the way it's resolved nothing and the way it provided no closure whatsoever to anything. It's kind of shit as far as endings go, and I don't like it at all. So I have to try the other one, and I guess while I'm at it, I will also try the escape one, where I escape using Alex's personal escape pod. But I will wait for the end of the credits, because maybe there's like an after credit scene or something, because that was a very abrupt and a very weird ending. And I'm not at all satisfied with it. I will withhold my actual opinion on the game and, you know, the summary of my thoughts and so on until I have checked the other endings, because this one is a non-ending. Like, it's such an abrupt. It's almost like it was bugged, because Morgan was talking. He said, I kept having this dream and I was expecting it to continue, you know, the monologue, but then it just ended, like, outright. What's the matter with that? After this ends, and after I reload, I will recheck on YouTube to see if I don't know, if I haven't cut it short by accident or something. Or I guess I'm just going to reload myself and see, you know, keep my hands off the keyboard and all that. Maybe I pressed something by accident that ended it abruptly, because it doesn't make sense to me. What kind of an ending was that? Well, let's let the credits roll for all of the people who worked on this game, because they did a very great job overall, and I will talk more about it in a moment. But first I want to make sure, first of all, I didn't screw up this ending, and second, I want to compare it to the other one, because if that was it, then it's a pretty crappy ending as far as bringing a conclusion is concerned, and I don't like it at all. Okay, so there is something else happening. A hidden location. Wait. Is that one of those... It was all a dream?
It's finished. How did it do?
Activation of the mirror neurons is promising. Empathy quotient shows to be exceptionally high.
It probably thinks it was dreaming, that nothing mattered.
You're assuming it thinks like us.
Its life depends on it. Ours too. It all comes down to the choices it made.
It saved me from the cargo container. I would have suffocated otherwise, and later it recovered the Leitner connectomes. They were of no practical use, except that they were deeply meaningful to me. It's remarkable that it never installed a single Typhon-based neuromod. In my view, this demonstrates a strong identification with us, but its most surprising act was sparing Da. While perhaps for purely selfish reasons, this, at least in principle, enabled others to escape Talos I.
Michaela.
I would have died without my medication. That wasn't easy. That says a lot, I think, about its heart. Can I say that it has a heart? It also found my father's records. And then, I did not expect this, but it let me listen to them. Despite the self-incriminating content, it was willing to make itself vulnerable. Then, there was the man in psychotronics, Ingram.
Would you let it live?
Yes.
Sarah, you're next.
The situation in the cargo bay was bad. None of us would have survived without its help, and it destroyed a large number of Typhon across the station. That has to be a good sign. Further, it thwarted Dar's attempt to use us as hostages. If it were one of my officers, I would give it a commendation.
Danielle, what do you say?
It found me. It didn't need to, but it did. I asked it to stop Volunteer 37. That was dangerous. No way to be sure, but I think it has a sense of retribution. There were a lot of humans controlled by the Typhon that it could have harmed. Seems like it went out of its way to avoid that. I think it's worth the risk.
In the end, it chose to destroy Talos I. Why? To protect Earth? We can't really know what its motives were for anything it did.
But we have to make a choice. You can hear us, can't you? Here. I want to show you something. What you experienced was a reconstruction based on Morgan's memories. This is the world today. We spent years trying to put what you can do into us. We never tried putting what we can do into you. Until now. You're the bridge between our species. I need to know if you see us. I mean, really see us. Take my hand if you do.
How do I choose? Ah, okay. Obviously, not kill them all. Sure. Do I have a time limit on that? Because well played to the game. Well played. Like, I was serious. That was me clapping. I'm not sure if the microphone caught that. I was, you know, because of the entirety of the credits played, I was convinced that either I broke something or just the ending was like super duper lame, and then it pulls this, you know, actual ending. So well played. Now, the fact that I am a Typhon, I guessed that, you know, hours ago, like halfway through the game, so that isn't a surprise. What is a surprise to me, I guess, is that the entirety of it was a simulation, and I guess the entirety of it was supposed to test my empathy quotient, you know, giving me ample opportunities to either help people or hurt people and see what I do and why. And what is a surprise for me also is that apparently Earth has fallen to the Typhon in actuality, and they are only now trying to create this empathetic Typhon to finally communicate with them and maybe, you know, gain some ground, or like cooperate with them, or like even learn what they actually want besides reproducting. Or I guess alternatively, they might, you know, if they master this technology, they might want to like spread it to all of them, so that all of them become empathetic, and then sort of engage with them as they would with other humans, basically trying to come up with a deal that would let them what's the word, regain control of Earth. So well played overall. I very much enjoyed this. I've totally fallen for the trick of the game with the totally lame ending out of nowhere and the very abrupt cutting off of the action. Although I guess in a way, most of the things I did and most of the things I wondered about were pointless because none of it was true. I guess the only thing that matters in the end is whether I was empathetic or not, because Alex said, should we let it live, or something like that? Would you let it live? So I assume if I were really, you know, evil, and if I killed a lot of them, if I was really aggressive and remorseless and cruel, they would have euthanized me right now, because they would have assumed that the experiment has failed, but because I helped people, they actually are, you know, pleased with the results. So sure, let's take Alex's hand.
We're gonna shake things up, like old times.
But what happened with the actual Morgan? Is he dead at this point? Because, you know, the Earth has fallen, and Alex said that the Typhon Morgan, was based on the life experiences of the real Morgan. But is he still alive somewhere, or did he die? I don't know, but it kind of sounded from the sound of it that he's dead at this point, and I am like the legacy of him or something. You know, having what's the word? Retained his memories, but also being a Typhon and not a human. Okay, so that was pretty great. I'm going to see if there's anything more regarding an actual after credit scene or something. Are the credits going to play again, or? Nope. I guess that's it. So, you know what? Let me just quickly check the other endings. Not that they matter, because to be honest, you know, everything was a simulation, and it's probably going to be the exact same abrupt, very quick ending that doesn't really show me anything, and then they are going to talk after my about my performance. That's the wrong save. Heart of the Coral. Deploy of Nullwave transmitter.
You better do something. The reconstruction is destabilizing.
They're lying to you.
Hurry.
That should do it. Come to the bridge. We can finish this thing once and for all.
Assume Alex's plan succeeds. Then what? You're taking a massive gamble that there aren't more predators like the Typhon. In the history of the universe, humans have only recently become self-aware. Yet you're going to kick the door open on a much wider and older cosmic ecology. One that feeds on consciousness. These are shark-infested waters. Alex believes we can be the bigger shark. But what if we're just poor swimmers, and now there's blood in the water?
Well, to be honest, it doesn't matter at this point.
Morgan, Igwe, what's the update on our patient?
Hell have you done?
Commander Dahl is making a speedy recovery, and we are making our way to the shuttle bay. I've informed him of the threat to the station, and...
Fine, Morgan, I'll meet you in the shuttle bay.
Who programmed you?
I represent the desires of Morgan Yu. Circa January 12th, 2035. Your brother created me to ensure his objectives would meet with success, and that yours would fail.
Mine? There's no difference between what I want and what Morgan wants. Not the real Morgan.
The idea of a real Morgan is fiction.
There's got to be an override.
Please step away from the terminal. You've left me no choice. I'm sorry, Morgan. I didn't want to harm your brother.
Oh,
the directives you gave me require I do everything in my power to ensure you destroy Talos I and all the Typhon. Detonating the station safeguards the Earth, and perhaps provides a small measure of reparation. You know how neuromods are made. The demand will only increase. In the future Alex envisions, many will die for the benefit of a privileged few. I won't relinquish control of the terminal. If you want to activate the Nullwave, you'll have to kill me.
Oh, well. Okay. Transmit.
What is a neuromod? Well, it's both an easy answer and a complicated one at the same time. It is the future, today. More importantly, our past, today. This is the work TranStar does. Every employee working together. It's immortality. And it is beautiful.
It's finished. How did it do?
Activation of the mirror neurons is promising. Empathy quotient shows to be exceptionally high.
It probably thinks it was dreaming, and nothing mattered.
You're assuming it thinks like us.
Its life depends on it. Ours too. It all comes down to the choices it made.
It saved me from the cargo container. I would have suffocated otherwise, and later it recovered the Leitner connectomes. They were of no practical use, except that they were deeply meaningful to me. It's remarkable that it never installed a single Typhon-based neuromod. In my view, this demonstrates a strong identification with us, but its most surprising act was sparing Da. While perhaps for purely selfish reasons, this, at least in principle, enabled others to escape Talos I.
Michaela.
I would have died without my medication. That wasn't easy. That says a lot, I think, about its heart. Can I say that it has a heart? It also found my father's records. And then, I did not expect this, but it let me listen to them. Despite the self-incriminating content, it was willing to make itself vulnerable. Then, there was a man in psychotronics, Ingram.
Would you let it live?
Yes.
Sarah, you're next.
The situation in the cargo bay was bad. None of us would have survived without its help, and it destroyed a large number of Typhon across the station. That has to be a good sign. Further, it thwarted Dar's attempt to use us as hostages. If it were one of my officers, I would give it a commendation.
Danielle, what do you say?
It found me. It didn't need to, but it did. I asked it to stop Volunteer 37. That was dangerous. No way to be sure, but I think it has a sense of retribution. There were a lot of humans controlled by the Typhon that it could have harmed. Seems like it went out of its way to avoid that. I think it's worth the risk.
In the end, it chose to activate the Nullwave device. Why? To preserve the Typhon technology? We can't really know what its motives were for anything it did.
But we have to make a choice. You can hear us, can't you? Here. I want to show you something. What you experienced was a reconstruction based on Morgan's memories. This is the world today. We spent years trying to put what you can do into us. We never tried putting what we can do into you. Until now. You're the bridge between our species. I need to know if you see us. I mean, really see us. Take my hand if you do.
Well, let's surprise them this time with the old switcheroo and try killing them all, just for the fun of it.
Is this a joke?
Well, that was very abrupt and kind of disappointing, but oh well. So, the last thing I'm going to check is I'm going to locate the correct save and actually try the ending where I escape earlier using Morgan's escape pod, because I'm especially interested in their comments about it, you know, after the simulation ends. So we'll be right back in a moment. I need to find the proper save. Okay, I'm here at Alex's escape pod, so let's try escaping.
Morgan, don't. I'm only a shallow copy of you, and I know better than to abandon Talos I. If you leave now, you're only delaying the inevitable. Where do you think the Typhon will go next?
Okay. Initialize launch.
Morgan, I don't understand how you got the launch key to that escape pod. Of all the ways the test could have changed you, this was the last one I expected. You just... quitting.
Okay. I'm especially curious what the reaction is going to be post the simulation, you know, to the Typhon creature just quitting the entire experiment.
We failed. This isn't the one.
Oh, I guess they decided it didn't have enough determination or something, and they euthanized me, judging from the no life signs. So let me return to the main menu, and I guess that was Prey. I have to say, it was pretty awesome. It was one of the best games I have played in a long time. To be honest, I'd be hard-pressed to find an element that I disliked, let alone hated. I think pretty much everything in this game was good at the worst and great at the best, because the story was quite good. It wasn't like, for example, the part where you were a Typhon creature, I think was a little bit too ham-fisted. It was pretty obvious by like half point. But I wasn't expecting the part with all of it being a simulation, and I have to say, it is one of the best uses of this trope, because, you know, usually the trope of, oh, it was all a dream, is very annoying, because it makes everything you did in the game pointless. So I feel like this is one of the best uses of this trope, because I can actually see how it makes sense in the universe. There is an actual explanation for why everything quote-unquote was a dream. They had an actual purpose to it, and it made sense, you know, for them to want to test the empathy quotient and whether I was able to empathize with other people. It made sense, and it didn't feel worthless, despite none of it having happened in reality. So the game gets points for that, and as I was going through the game, I was very much engaged in the story. I liked the characters. For example, Alex was quite an interesting character to me, because it was difficult for me to pinpoint whether I should trust him or whether he has my best interest in mind throughout. But he was kind of complicated in that regard, I guess, because you couldn't really tell with him. At least that was my experience. I wasn't sure if he's quote-unquote the bad guy here or not. And overall, I was definitely engaged throughout the entirety of the game. So the game does get a plus for the story. But I think what's even better is the overall like setting and the aesthetic of the game. I thoroughly enjoyed the Talos I as the station as a location. I enjoyed every detail of it. I enjoyed the different styles of the rooms and how they were decorated and all that. And it all felt very lived in and very real and very enjoyable to explore. I had a blast, you know, looking through every room and checking all of the emails and reading all of the books and everything. It was really a game that has drawn me in, and I don't regret even a single minute spent in this game. I had a lot of fun. Now, on the gameplay department, I feel like I'm not the best person to judge it, because I sucked. Like, I died a lot, and I died in pretty stupid ways as well, sometimes. Most notably when I kept igniting the air and exploding myself and wondering why does the enemy keep damaging me so highly. But I do think the gameplay was great as well, because even if you sucked at the game, as I did, you can't deny that there were many options to approach the gameplay, because, for example, the recycler charges, you could use them against mimics, you could use them to bypass obstacles. There were, I guess the human neurobots were kind of boring. Like, now that I know that none of it mattered, well, I guess they did comment on the fact that I didn't install a single Typhon neuromod, so maybe it did matter, but I kind of regret not taking any of the Typhon ones, because they seemed much cooler in theory. But overall, I would say there were many different approaches. For example, the Nullwave could help you, deactivate the powers of an enemy before you swoop in for an attack. There was also a sneak attack bonus, so you could sneak around and attack from a surprise. So overall, I do not feel competent to really comment on the gameplay, because I didn't utilize, for example, I didn't use an EMP grenade once throughout the entirety of the game, even though I probably should, especially at the end with the operators. I just kind of forgot that it existed. So I don't feel competent to really comment about the gameplay, but I would say it was good. I would say it was well thought of, and that it gave you different options to branch out as far as skills are concerned, or weapons, or generally the approach to the world, because you could hack your way in, you could destroy the obstacles with the recycler, you could move them with the leverage power or something. I also really enjoyed the idea of being able to press buttons with the toy crossbow. That was very creative and cool. What else? Yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of fresh right now, it's difficult for me to structure my thoughts. I'm probably going to write a longer summary/review after I think about it a little, and I'm going to pin it in a pinned comment underneath this video. But overall, I would say it was pretty great. I enjoyed every minute of it, it was totally worth it. And to be honest, as I said, I don't have a single thing that I strongly disliked. It was all pretty good at the least, and most of it was actually kind of great. I really looked forward to returning to this game every time and proceeding a little bit further. So definitely time well spent, well played, GG and all that. It was superb. So, as I said, maybe I will write something more, I'm not sure. I still have a DLC, I will play that, because I'm expecting more of the same, kind of. And I thoroughly enjoyed that, so more of the same would be great, in my opinion. But for now, I guess that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!